What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Full Court Talk podcast, podcast 38. Miles is back with us again.
Yes,
It's good.
sir.
This is going to be a really good one. There was a lot that happened in the NBA last week. So the first topic we're going to talk about is should the NBA change the buyout rules for teams, particularly the NBA's top teams? That's going to be an interesting one coming from Laker fans. Good perspective. And topic two kind of came under, I guess, fire as LeBron is possibly recruiting Steph, but could Steph ever leave the Warriors? That's gonna be interesting. And topic three, Jalen Suggs and Gonzaga shock the world with an incredible game winner. And they
Yeah.
take down Johnny Juzang and UCLA. We're gonna talk about that. And the last topic, I'm actually really excited for this one. What do we think of the Kevin Durant, Michael Rappoport private DM exchange? I don't know if you guys saw that video this morning.
I did.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
I can't go to the dog park, man.
Yeah.
No one's saying hi. It was hilarious. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. But should the NBA's top teams have some kind of buyout rule change? Because we've seen the Nets pick up LaMarcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin, who are very good players. They can start on any team almost. Um, and I think I want to hear what you guys think before I say anything. But what do you guys think? Should something be done or should it just be kept the same?
This is tough because I like the first thing that came to mind for me is more serious matters like rent control and all that kind of politics and finance stuff. And I want to preface my comments by saying I am a Laker fan, so my team does benefit from this. Like I'm not like just objectively, I'm not against a rule or like a little stipulation, but I don't know what it would be because you can't really punish these teams for their location. And it depends player to player if they value money more or basketball more, because it's always some combination of both. And I actually looked it up. Like some of the richest owners, obviously you have Steve Ballmer in the Clippers, uh, Joseph Tsai with the Brooklyn Nets is up there. But like I mean, you have teams like the owner of Portland, Paul Allen, and Dan Gilbert in Cleveland, even the dude in Detroit, his name's Tom Gores. Of course, money and location is a part of it, but you have to make your organization run well, and that's going to be what attracts players. So I want to hear what you guys have to say because I'm open to like intervention here, but I just don't know how.
Yeah. Same thing with Miles. As everybody knows, I am a Lakers fan, so it does benefit my team a lot. But I don't go against any possible rules that might be created for this situation. But I feel like at the end of the day, it's up to the player. Like Miles said, like it's either do they value money or basketball more, and like a lot of these players, obviously, after they get bought out, they want to go to contenders. I mean, they don't want to go to another losing team. And so, like, when they get bought out, they have the decision. Oh, okay. And unfortunately, right now it comes down to like two, maybe three teams, right? And so, like, it's not always gonna be like that. Like, if we were to go back a couple years, I mean, if you get bought out, where do you want to go? You want to go to the Warriors, or if you go back even further, you want to go to the Heat, maybe even the Spurs, right? But I mean, as of right now, like Miles said, like I don't know what kind of rule that you can make to go against it. Like, are you gonna say like, hey, you can get bought out, but there's a restriction on which teams you can go to, and it's just I don't think it'd be fair for them because at the end of the day, maybe they care about winning more, right? Rather than the competition of the game. So it's just tough because obviously if you're like a somewhat decent player, like I'll give an example, like Mo Bamba, like who hasn't proven much yet. But if he were to get bought out, the Lakers were showing interest, right? And so like if you were somewhat of like a well-known player and you get bought out, you're gonna want to go to one of these teams as long as they want you. So at the end of the day, it's a matter of like Miles said, like preparing your organization, And I know it's tough, like teams like Detroit or like, I mean, it's kind of tough there too because not all teams are bad anymore, in my opinion. they're stepping up, especially with how the current circumstances of the world is. But at the end of the day, it's just, man, like you want to go to the teams that give you a best chance of winning the ship, right? So yeah, it's just tough. I don't know what kind of rule they can make for it.
Yeah, it's tough because like, coming from a Warriors fan, we've
Yeah.
benefited this from years. Like, and to be honest, I think this was the best buyout market we've ever seen.
Oh yeah,
Blake
easily.
Griffin is a multi-time All-Star who has a lot left in the tank. He just didn't want to show it in Detroit. LaMarcus Aldridge still, even though he's like on the older side, he's still a bucket. No matter
Yeah.
where you put him, he's gonna get something going. Andre Drummond, possibly the best buyout of all time. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But when you like the thing I was trying to think of was like maybe you can limit teams to one buyout person or player per team
Yeah.
just to have some kind of restriction. Just because seeing Blake Griffin and LaMarcus go to a team like the Nets, who are already stacked beyond belief. But at the same time, it's tough because you can't really limit someone from going to another team like that. At the end of the day, it's the player's choice.
Yeah.
And if they want to stack the cards, they're going to. So it's tough, but like I'm not mad at the Lakers for signing Drummond. The Lakers are struggling hard without LeBron and AD, and Drummond went and got hurt in his first game. So I don't know what, like, you can't be mad at them for signing someone that they needed. But in respect to the Nets, they might have to look at it because a lot of fans were mad about LaMarcus going to the Nets. And even Blake going to the Nets. I think the way Blake did it, pushing his way out by being really bad, and then getting on the Nets and kind of playing real nice. So it'll be interesting to see what happens going forward. I don't think anything's going to happen. But this puts a lot of pressure on the Nets to win now and win a ton of games. But
Yeah.
they're winning without their
Exactly.
best players, so it's interesting. But
Yeah. Yeah, like I think the league might have to step in depending if the Nets win and how they win. Like if they
Yeah.
just run through the East,
yeah,
win the finals in 5 or 6. I mean, and like these owners, they're not shy about complaining when things aren't
Exactly.
going their way.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we'll see.
I mean, another thing that I wasn't like really like focused on, but I just thought about it right now as you guys are talking, is just like, how some teams have to cut players to create roster spots. I mean, maybe they could have some sort of time where, I mean, a deadline or maybe even a penalty for doing so. Or like, how players, like if they want to get bought out and they're not happy with their situation, they'll just be like, okay, I don't want to play anymore. You know what I mean? Maybe they could just, penalize them for doing so, because at the end of the day, it makes their image look kind of bad. Like, for example, like, obviously I love having Drummond on my team, but he didn't even want to play for Cleveland anymore. And I understand that. I mean, he might have been wanting to prepare himself for whatever team he wants to go to next. But it's not fair to the team that currently has you. So I don't know. Maybe the league can do something about that, just so it can deter them from the process, similar to Blake did. So I don't know. But at the end of the day, it is still tough because, like you guys said, I mean, we all agreed it's the player's decision. So
yeah. Like I'm just
yeah,
not sure what you could do. Maybe you could have some kind of cap penalty for picking
yeah,
up buyout players.
fine.
Yeah,
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 like
but
I think
yeah, that's
something.
true. Like a tax. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just
yeah,
do something like that. Like I think it's kind of BS that Drummond's allowed to sign a $700,000 contract
yeah,
when he's people are gonna offer him 20 mil in next
Mhm.
season.
oh
So
yeah,
why is he allowed to sign a 700K one?
yeah,
And that's tough because at the end of the day, he prioritized the winning. He got a buyout for millions of dollars. He's gonna prioritize the winning. So
yeah,
I get it, but it's still kind of like iffy because like, what if another star did that? It depends, but
yeah,
I'm not sure what they could do on it. It'll be interesting to see what happens during the off season because they'll take care of that stuff during the off season. And like you said,
yeah,
if the Nets win it all and they steamroll every single team, they'll probably change it.
Yeah.
But I don't see that happening because KD doesn't look like he's coming back anytime soon. But we'll see. But on to the next one. Could Curry leave the Warriors? Now I'll let you guys go first because I got a lot to say. So whoever wants to go first.
Go ahead, TJ.
Well, I'll tell you guys something though. I gotta start deleting tweets, man.
I might have to also.
I gotta start deleting tweets, man. Nah, I'm just kidding. But all in all, like in reality, personally, I don't think he would leave. I think Steph and Dame are cut from the same cloth in terms of loyalty. I know that Steph values what the Warriors organization did for him and how they invested in him. And like nowadays, like it's hard to find like loyalty within the players who have been there, like tenured players, you know what I mean? And so like at the end of the day, like as fun as it is to daydream about, Steph going somewhere else, especially the Lakers, I don't think he leaves. I think he's going to stick it through, especially, it's just 2 bad seasons. I mean, his rookie season up until 2013 or pretty bad, but I mean, he's been to the top. I don't think the Warriors would let it happen, first of all. But I mean, if he were to leave, I think the only team that he would be looking interest at is the Charlotte Hornets. I think he just want to go home. That's a lot of the reasons why players leave anyways, right? Just to go home. But yeah, honestly, like I don't think he leaves. But if he does and he goes to the Lakers, like I said, it's time to delete some tweets.
No, hey, he looks damn good in those photoshops. I'm not even gonna lie. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, because we've seen them in a yellow before, so.
Yeah, the All-Star game, man. It made me dream a little bit out there, But yeah, all in all, I just don't see him leaving. I think he's loyal to the organization. He appreciates everything that they did for him and what he was able to accomplish. And he just loves being in the Bay, in my opinion. So yeah, I don't see him leaving at all.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if I had to bet my money, I would say he'd stay.
Mhm.
But I feel like there's more of a chance of him leaving than we all think. It all rides on like Golden State's plan for this offseason if they're gonna maximize their title window and make moves for a star. I've been saying this ever since last year because, again, you want to maximize the prime years of your core, and you have Clay under contract until 2024. So it just doesn't make sense to me why. I mean, like, yeah, Wiseman has shown potential. He's shown flashes, but obviously Kerr hasn't shown that he's a coach to develop young talent. He's more so the ones to put him over the top. And also, yeah, it just comes down to also what Steph wants. If he wants to go ring chasing again, or if he wants to go home, he wants to get paid one more time.
Yeah.
And you just never know until they make the choice. Like back to the Kevin Durant move, I thought he was going to re-sign with OKC easy and run it back. So it must be a stressful time for Warrior fans. Spencer, I feel your pain, brother. I'm praying for you.
Yeah, and like I honestly feel like this is the most fragile the Warriors have been in a long time. I don't know if you guys saw the report, but from Andrew Bogut, who I'm assuming has ties within the organization still. I guess there's either a group or a player that's frustrated with Kelly Oubre because of his comments about not wanting to come off the bench next season. And then also, it has to be someone that's been with the team.
Yeah.
There's just no one else.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, like Steph, every game that they lose, he looks pissed, and I would be too.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he wasn't there when they were losing by 53, by 60 at one point, because that's embarrassing. The Warriors aren't even that bad of a team without Steph and Dre. They're a bad team, but they're not losing by 60. Like, that's embarrassing. And honestly, I think the only reason Steph would leave is not even just the chance to like go get a championship, I think he's going to leave if they keep running back with Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr has come under a lot of heat from Warrior fans as of recently. First, he says they're going to run a lot of pick and roll. They do it against the Bulls. They win. And then after that, they run 7 a game. And they run it with Draymond, who's not an offensive player. What are you going to do? Everyone sags on him. So it is what it is. But, at the end of the day, I think Steph will leave because of Steve Kerr. Because I think KD did the same thing. I think he's frustrating Draymond at this point. I don't know how Clay feels, because Clay just seems like he just goes through life full of happiness. But
Yeah.
and I think I feel for James Wiseman at this point, because he's doing everything he can to play well for the Warriors, to the best of his ability. He played 3 games in college. Hasn't really played a full season since high school. So you can't be mad at a guy who just hasn't had the time to develop. But saying that he needs to play towards his strengths when you're not putting him in those positions as a coach, it's BS. If you're using a number 2 pick with a gigantic wingspan, 7'1", as a pick setter, not even a roller, not a scorer, you're doing something wrong. And I feel for Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole had to work his ass off all summer, and he gets benched for the first half of the season, gets sent to Orlando for the G League, and Nico Mannion comes in, goes to the G League, comes back, gets unlimited leash, and whenever he makes a mistake, still stays out there. Jordan Poole makes a mistake, pulls out. And it kind of feels like Nico gets all this whole gets everything from Steve Kerr just because he's from Arizona,
Yeah.
It's frustrating to watch Steve Kerr coach at this point. I'm not sure what he's doing. I'm not sure if he's throwing it because people are mad at him and he's just being petty. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if you look at it, they're passing just to pass at this point. At the
I
top
saw
of the
that
key,
clip.
they're
I
just
saw that clip.
they're
I saw
throwing it
that
back
clip.
and forth. Nothing's
Yeah.
going on.
Hot potato.
Yeah, it's exactly
Yeah.
what KD said. They're
Yeah.
passing just to pass. It looks cool, looks
Yeah.
pleasing, but doesn't get anywhere.
That's
Yeah.
like a coaching curse in all sports. Like coaches try to show how smart they are. Like,
Yeah.
oh, my system will work even with a less talented roster. When in
Yeah.
reality, basketball, I think more than any sport is just don't overthink it. You have a top 5 player, run your offense through him.
Yeah.
Like literally James Harden Rockets, like that.
Exactly.
Run your offense. Yeah.
And
It's
there's no
rough.
reason Steph should have 5 combined assists, a total 5 assists in the past 2 games. You put the hand in
Yeah.
Steph's hands, or the ball in Steph's hands, you're probably gonna do pretty well. He's averaging 35 in the last 2 games. You're getting the shots he wants, but he needs the ball in his hands more. So what everyone's been saying, it's easy to see, but
Yeah.
Steve Kerr is wanting it in Kent Bazemore's hands. Don't know.
Spence, real quick. My bad, guys. Technical difficulties again. But honestly, you bring up an interesting point, because I think Steve Kerr gets axed before Steph leaves, because I think they're going to want to keep Steph over Steve Kerr, because obviously he hasn't coached to his potential post the championship run.
Yeah.
He hasn't shown any type of difference between just improving these guys, and he's getting exposed, unfortunately. You know what I mean? A lot of people thought that Steve Kerr was a great coach, and he had a lot to work with, yes, but now he's just showing people he's just the dude can't coach. He's not reading the offense properly, in my opinion, and he's making some questionable decisions all throughout. You Warrior fans know that well. Watching the game yesterday, Atlanta. Oh, you guys had a chance to take over the. I think you guys were only down 297-95, and Damian Lee was in there. I mean, he was making shots, but Steph was on the bench, and it's just it's winning time, bro. You need your best guy out there, and he waited too long to get him in there. And like you said, the ball needs to be in Steph's hands, because obviously he's a franchise player, and he makes these plays. And so, like, I think he gets axed unless they want that threat of Steph leaving. Because Steph, I think he's just a nice guy. Spence, I know you have a story that debunks that, but he's a nice guy, and he doesn't want to throw his coach out there. You know what I mean? And so, like,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like, he's doing what he can, and, like, he wants these guys to get motivated. That's just the type of person that he is, from what I'm assuming. He wants them to get motivated to potentially fight for the next few games, right? But I'm not sure if he'll get it, especially if they don't have the support of the coach. So I think, like you said, Steve Kerr, man, he's looking like he's the problem. So they might do something with him in the offseason. Who knows?
I'm hoping so, because you
Yeah.
can tell, like, he's not in it right now. He just seems like he's just kind of throwing stuff at the wall. And it's like, if it doesn't stick, he's gonna keep
Try
throwing
again.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The pick and roll is one of the easiest things to run in the NBA, especially with a big guy like that. You have so many playmakers on the floor with Draymond and Steph. Wiggins looks like he's been phenomenal the past couple, since the All-Star break.
Yeah.
But, they don't want to run simple things. They want to complicate things, and that's how it is right now.
I mean, bro, honestly, I hate to say it, if you guys were to get rid of Steve Kerr, I think Alvin Gentry would be the perfect coach.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, I like Alvin Gentry.
He'll be the perfect coach for you guys.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hopefully, man, because, I like Steph. Contrary to popular belief.
Hard not to, He's a great player.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We still have that draft pick. Maybe they trade it. We still have the disabled player exception. They haven't used it.
Yeah.
I think we should have traded Oubre for Lonzo.
8 3-pointers. Salute.
He looks good, bro.
Yeah.
He looks insane.
Yeah, that shot's nice. That shot's really nice.
He just looks confident again, which I like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if I talk about the Warriors too much, I'm gonna get mad.
Real quick, I wanted to say something about Steph.
Yeah.
Like, because I've been seeing tweets like, "Oh, Steph has been through this before NU fans got here." But it's different because before he was hungry. He's still hungry now, but he wasn't a champion then. Yeah. But now he's a multiple-time MVP. He's a champion. So his mindset could be, man, bleep all this. Like, I'm way better than this. I deserve better than this. Yeah. So, just for Warrior fans' sake, hopefully the season ends on a higher note, like more hopeful than just it's been miserable lately, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I would I understand if he would leave, because right now they're not putting the talent around that he needs. And not saying that this is a bad team. I think this is a good team, good roster. But for some reason, I think Steve Kerr just doesn't want to run the right sets. But that's for another day. But talking about Jalen Suggs and Gonzaga taking down Johnny Juzang and UCLA. Before I even want to mention Jalen Suggs and how amazing he was, Johnny Juzang deserves his flowers. He was amazing throughout the whole tournament, and he carried that UCLA team with they were a good team. They weren't even supposed to be there, 11 seed. But I think Juzang is going to be a hell of a pro someday. And I can't wait to see where he goes, because anyone needs a bucket getter like him. Yeah. So I'm excited for that. But Jalen Suggs does a little bit of everything, does so many things well. Good size at 6'4". And it's crazy when your game winner isn't even the best player of your night. I mean, like that, the block on the big on Cody Riley, and then
the assist,
just making a beautiful pass to I think Corey Kispert.
Yeah,
that was insane. And then having the presence of mind to just pull up from midcourt with 3 seconds left, not even taking the timeout, just going up, attacking the defense while they're not set.
Yeah.
That's a vet move. That's a Steph move, you know. But I think he's going to be a hell of a player in the NBA, and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
excited for him to even get there and be on the Warriors.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, when
you know,
Steph leaves.
we won't talk about that. We won't talk about that. But I think one of the most interesting storylines coming from Gonzaga is Drew Timmy. Coming
Yeah.
into the March Madness tournament, he wasn't even projected to be drafted, and I would assume after his little run that he's gone on, he's probably a projected first round player, fringe first
Yeah.
round player.
Yep.
Um, he's been phenomenal. He's been really good. I don't know if he translates to the NBA as much because he doesn't have a shot and he doesn't play defense, but his offensive play is really good. A guy I'm really excited about is Corey Kispert. I think he's got a pure jumper, and I think he's going to fit in really nicely. But I have Gonzaga still taking down Baylor. That should be a lot of fun to watch tonight. It's 6:20
Yeah.
Monday. So, with all this being said, what do you guys think about Jalen Suggs and Johnny Juzang?
Yeah, man, they both are NBA ready already. And I feel like that's the main thing when these teams they're trying to decide, okay, is this guy going to be a project or can he help us now? And hopefully they don't go to situations that are too bad, because the worst thing is when these generational talents go to these um, garbage franchises. I mean, look at Cat right now in Minnesota and D'Lo. I know
Yeah.
they've been in and out, COVID stuff and injuries, but I mean, still, they're like Minnesota. I think they're the last in the conference. Hopefully, those dudes leave when they can. But yeah, just seeing guys that young who have such a feel for the game already, and seeing if they'll be able to pull that off in the NBA is always a fun thing to see. So I think they'll be solid.
Yeah. Well, hopefully my video's working. Number one pick, man, Jalen Suggs, bro, easily the number one pick, man. Jalen Suggs has shown like he's the top pick, especially with what he's doing for Gonzaga right now, leading him to the national title game. Man, I can't wait to see him to see him like ball out later. And Johnny Juzang, like shout out to all our Asian families, man. He's putting on for us, bro. And it was tough. It was tough to root against him. You know what I mean? Not that I don't like UCLA, but it's just because he was matched up against Suggs and Gonzaga, and like honestly, like he was a bucket. He was UCLA's team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they had a solid surrounding cast, but you could see that he was a clear cut best player. And it's crazy because he's a transfer from Kentucky. And so like Myles said, getting drafted into a situation where it fits you, but this time he had to transfer out of a situation that fits him best, right? And so hats off to UCLA, from first four to final four. That's crazy. But yeah, man, like Jalen Suggs, like that boy is the truth. Like I have him over Cade when the draft finally arrives, because obviously whatever happens tonight, he's gonna declare. And yeah, man, he can do a little bit of everything, bro. Like the reason why his numbers compared to Cade is not as high is because Cade is Oklahoma State's guy, and in Gonzaga you have more than one.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like I kind of make fun of Gonzaga because they look like a bunch of frat boys, but they can play, man.
Yeah.
Those guys can play. Kispert, Timmy, like so they have a chance at history with being one of the few teams to go undefeated the whole college season. I think, like Spence said, I do have them beating Baylor, but Baylor, they're not they're not chumps, man. They're the number one seed in their conference for a reason,
And
and
boys
so
can
it's gonna be
shoot, bro.
yep, they can shoot the lights out, man, and so it's gonna be a good one. And I know you guys are excited to see where Suggs goes, and I sure am too. And like hopefully he does go to a situation where that benefits his style of play, because a bunch of this is all about situations and how they can utilize his talent, right? But like Miles said, hopefully he goes to the Warriors and Steph leaves as well.
No.
Yeah.
Put
Can't
them
wait.
together.
Can't wait for the Lakers Warriors Suggs Curry matchup.
Yeah,
And
man.
Suggs
But
wins.
yeah, you know what? See, the thing is, I also want to touch base on what Spencer said. With Timmy, like it's gonna be hard to see him translate later on because I feel like he's this year's DiVincenzo, and like when Villanova made that run, like DiVincenzo was an important guy off the bench, but he really wasn't into draft consideration until he rose his stock during the tourney. And
Yeah.
so here is Timmy doing what he does, and so I think there's a lot more pressure in Gonzaga, not because they're undefeated, but I think it's because they're gonna lose their players regardless.
Yeah.
And so they gotta win now too. But Baylor, like, man, them boys can shoot. So
Yeah.
it's for sure gonna be a good one.
Does Drew Timmy give you guys Frank Kaminsky vibes?
He
Without the
does.
Dude,
jumper?
I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
He
But
He
does.
without the
does.
jumper, so like I don't know if he can stay in the league like that because you can't
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
we know post moves don't really get you anywhere anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not like a dominant physical force. And
Yeah.
if you can't shoot and you can't play defense, that definitely does not help your cause.
You got to develop a jump shot if he's gonna have success.
And unless he goes to a team that needs a offensive big like that, I'm not sure what he could do for like if he goes in the lottery, which I don't
Yeah.
think he will. That's a bad choice. But yeah, he gives me like them Kaminsky vibes because Kaminsky played really well for Wisconsin, and
He's been bouncing around.
yeah,
That's a good ass comparison. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
it really is. Yeah,
I saw that little hook shot. He has some great post moves, and
he
obviously he's gonna
does.
work on some college guys, but against NBA players, where working in the post you have to do it in less than 5 seconds, that's tough. So
Yeah.
I don't know, but getting on to my most anticipated topic of the day. What do we think of Kevin Durant and Michael Rappoport private DM exchange? So the video this morning told me a lot about Michael Rappoport. So he starts this whole beef with KD, assuming because I think Michael Rappoport is a Knicks super fan. He's probably still salty that KD didn't choose the Knicks and he went to the Nets instead. But I agree with KD all the way. Well, to a certain point. There's no reason Michael Rappaport should be mentioning KD. He's not an NBA analyst. He's a comedian. And the only thing I disagree with KD is the words he used. He should not be using homophobic and just
Yeah.
derogatory terms towards another man. But what Rappaport is in the wrong for is coming at KD publicly. And then when KD confronts him, backpedaling like, oh, just do the interview. Oh, just do the interview. And then releasing the DMs saying, oh, look at what KD did. He made me mad. He made me sad. That's BS. They're private for a reason. Just keep them that way. KD was man enough to come to you privately. And then you release those private DMs saying, oh, KD's a bad person. Like, you're stupid. Yeah, KD shouldn't have used those words, but he came at you in the private at least. But then going on TV and crying because you can't get a coffee to go and because nobody's saying hi to you at the dog park, like, come on, bro.
One wants to play with my dog, dude. There's no way. I don't think that's real. I think he's
There's
playing
no
an
way,
act
right? There's no
because
way.
like he's an actor, and it's kind of like how I feel about people who say like the most wild stuff, but like with the most conviction.
Yeah.
There's no way he feels that way. There's no
Yeah.
way I mean, he probably does, but if he does, it's just so funny. It's laughable.
Bro, I lost it when he was like, nobody want to play with my dog. My dog's name is
Yeah.
Weezy. I was
I
like,
know. Nobody cares, bro.
It had to
Oh
be
my
an act, bro.
god.
like, bro, you're getting in your feelings and you're crying on TV. Like, KD hurt your feelings. Like, what are you doing? You're a grown man. Like,
For
go
real.
live your life.
Exactly.
You're rich too. Like, why do you have to do this? But
Yeah.
I don't know, man. The whole thing is just so stupid, and it was so blown out of proportion. But it
Yeah.
really just shows how soft both of them are.
No, I agree. I think Rappaport like baited KD into that, bro. Like he
Oh
for
yeah,
sure
big time,
baited it because
big time.
I mean I saw this tweet. I don't know if you guys saw it, but like it said like KD is one of the best basketball players like of all time, and he behaves just like us. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's like
Mhm.
that is the truth. You know what I mean? Like he reacts to things like a lot of ways that we do. You know what I mean? And so like he sees something like he's legit one of the few NBA players that scrolls through social media and sees what people have to say about him, and he got baited into this one. And like Michael Rappaport, like he's probably salty that KD didn't go to the Knicks, obviously, because being a
Yeah,
super fan that he is. But at the same time, like I think Rappaport, like I don't know him personally, so I can't for sure confirm this, but he probably doesn't have a lot going for him, and he needs something to like put his name out in the
Yeah.
news. And so like I don't know, man, but yeah, KD, like I don't agree with the homophobic like comments and words and phrases but that he used, but it's just other than that, like these are just two grown men going at it, um, quote unquote casual, right? Rappaport.
yeah.
But I think on his end, like Rappaport's end, like he shouldn't have like posted like the DMs and all that stuff because just it makes him look like a chump, man. Like you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And KD, like yeah, like he said all those things, but if he really wanted to, like I'm pretty sure he could have found a way to just pull up to wherever Rapport is, you know what I mean, and had a conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he got baited into this one, man. So it just looks bad on both of them. But I think if anything, people are gonna say that KD was just defending himself, but he should have used smarter words. That's all it is.
This whole thing just feels like one big April Fool's joke. After I saw that video, I'm like, bro, this can't
Yeah,
be real. This can't be
yeah,
real.
exactly.
But yeah, Michael Rappaport crying on ESPN. No, it was FS1
Yeah.
Yep.
to Skip and Shannon, and I don't know how they kept a straight face because I would have been
Yeah.
dying.
No.
Looking at Skip going,
Seriously.
and it's like, bro, how? Like you could
Yeah.
tell, like this is just a grown man crying on live TV about how he can't go to the dog park and his
Yeah.
coffee shop won't serve him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's first world
Right.
problem.
Oh man.
It was that was a great way to start my morning.
Yeah. Dude, like it's funny too because he runs his mouth so much and
Exactly.
it's so vulgar.
Yeah.
Like he's gone at Kyrie and LeBron and used like really like not it's not like homophobic or racist obviously, but it's like pretty aggressive words. So the fact that he's turning around and crying on TV like that's why I think he's acting because he is an actor too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
not the dog, man, not the dog.
A little wheezy.
Oh man.
It's so stupid. This whole thing is so stupid, but it's so entertaining
It is.
because that's not what I thought our best topic would be.
Bro.
Oh man.
But that's gonna do it for podcast 38. Appreciate Miles for coming back on,
Yeah,
and thank you
Miles.
CJ for always coming around.
Of
This
course.
was a lot of
Thank
fun
you
to
guys for
just
having me.
record. This is
Yeah.
this is just we got so much to talk about, and it's always fun talking ball with you guys.
Yeah.
But
Appreciate it, man. Yeah,
yeah,
always love coming on.
of course, man.
You guys are the best.
Nah, you are. But
Oh.
but check out our links down in the description. We have a lot more content. We have 37 other podcasts. Go check them out.
Yep.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. But that's gonna do it for us. Catch you guys in the next one.